What I love most about my annual pilgrimage to Paris is the thrill of the chase. There's nothing like it. It's when I get to discover new producers, new bottles. It's a little bit different. It gets me out of the regular rhythm roll of where I usually buy bottles, which is in southern Sweden. It's nice to be able to talk to people in the stores. What they're great at is unearthing these values every year, unearthing new names for me to try every year. It's how I discovered Jean-Marc Vincent a few years ago. I'll be forever grateful for that one because, I mean, wow, those wines are fantastic. It's how I discovered Domaine de Cosier, an up-and-coming Loire house, Domaine, that I think is going to do fabulous things in the future. I'm really happy to be, early in on things like that. Today I'm going to do 3 wines. Keeping me company, what do I get in the glass? Look at that color. It's very, very purple. I love it. There's a muskiness to this, a beautiful deliciousness to it. It's perfect for talking about some of the discoveries I made this summer. Almost some chocolate tone ones. The fruit is beautiful. It's lively, a little bouncy, a little zippy on the tongue. Oh, so clean and balanced. I'll get to what it is when I wrap things up a little bit later. In the meantime, let's go. 2020, Pouilly, Fuissé, sur la Roche premier cru from Jessica Litaud. She's obviously not brand new as a producer, but fairly new, making a real name for herself. I was highly recommended to take this wine. I tried her instead her entry-level Rose, just to get an idea of what she was like as a producer, and I honestly didn't like it very much. I thought it was a little bit pricey, 48 euros for a second pressing of all her terroirs blended together. Just wasn't that compelling. Here's hoping this Premier Cru, which was considerably more expensive, changes my mind. What do we get in the glass? Look at that color. Nice gold, yellow, some depth to it. It's not light and see-through anymore. It's starting to get the heaviness of age, the somberness, the seriousness of age. Gorgeous nose of lemon and hawthorn, or it's quite herbal. There's an herbal thing going on, and a bit of the wood still poking through here. It's very also yeasty, more like a cookie dough yeast rather than a bread one, but salivating. It's got that. It's a beautiful sort of salty, cake-like, savory cake-like structure and structure. Ambiance, you could say. I like the nose very much. Yeah, baby. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, what a difference. What a difference a wine makes. It's very mineral. It's very rocky, but it's also oyster shell-like, very sort of Grand Cru Chablis-like in that sense. Maybe not with that sort of ponderousness of Chablis. There's something really beautifully strident about this. It's alive and really pushy and precocious, you could say. I think that's the right word for this. A rambunctious child that's still running around the room, full of energy and still a cute one, not a child that you're kind of getting sick of. Oh man, there's some honey notes in this and some nutty tones to this. It does have this herbal sort of bitterness to it that's quite refreshing, and that's complexity to this wine. That's what I worried about when I drank the Rose. But this is really good. This is something else. It's in a class of itself. I would definitely go out of my way to buy her Premier Crus again. I'm really new to this producer, but this I can say is kick-ass. Domaine de la Renardière, Arbois Pupillin, maybe Savagnin, 70%. From 2018, barrels of 2018, and 30% from barrels of 2020. I was reading in the Fine Wine Substack by Claude Colm, I think that's how I pronounce his name, that he'd had a glass of this at Le Résistant, one of my favorite restaurants here in Paris at the moment, one of the better places to drink with a good wine list, where he mentioned that this was an excellent winemaker. We needed some Savagnin because we were going to eat some cheese. What do we got in the glass? Yeah, it's the deep gold. Dark gold of Savagnin. It's got that sort of darker, browner feel, and it makes a lot of sense, right? A little bit like sherry, to be honest. Gorgeous nose. Very, very almost fishy, and then pollen, a mixture of pollen and fish. And I often find that with the riper Sauvignons. I quite like it, but I can understand why people wouldn't, because it's very overpowering. It's not something that you would call elegant. Here, there's also a little bit of peach kind of fruit, bit of, yeah, nectarine poking through in the back. And then that sort of woody, hazelnutty sort of scent. Oh, okay, that's way better than it was yesterday. Yesterday when we opened it, we thought it was a little bit unbalanced, and I thought it needed some air. I worried that it was a bit of an aggressive type of wine, and I think some of that aggression is still in here. It's still a very high acid type wine, a little too high maybe for this grape type. How they're achieving that, I'm rarely bowled over by the acidity in a Savagnin, that's for sure. Interesting, a lovely mouthfeel today. A little drying on the finish towards the end there. A little almost tinny. I think it could be fuller and lusher, but I also think maybe it just needs some time in bottle. They can last forever, and I think this one's built for age. Yeah. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it now. I like the style. It's fine. Not too sure I would go out of my way to sort of say it's somebody I need to chase down all the time, anything like that. It's still very good, and I'm enjoying it very much. I got a wine today. It's very exciting. I think it's very interesting, at least. It's not the Pinot Noir, but it is a red. It's from the Loire. It's not typically from the Loire, so that means it's not Cabernet Franc. Let's give it a shot. What do we got in the glass? Look at this. It's quite dark. I mean, it's a dark grape, so it should be a dark wine. Still a purple rim to it. It's young. Lovely perfumed nose. Very perfumey. Very fragrant. Very spicy and black currant. Confirmed on the palate. A little woolliness. A little rough towards the finish. It feels very cigar ashtray-ish. Not cigar box, but cigar ashtray. And a kind of a roughness to it, a little bit of haywiriness to it. It's not a well-groomed wine. It's a delicious wine, I must say. It's got this really, really dark, almost beetroot type of flavor, earthiness to it. That's absolutely gorgeous. I'm not crazy about the finish. I left this purposely overnight because when I opened it in the beginning, I was really almost disappointed to some extent, I must say. Flashed out overnight, and this is super young. You can taste its youth. It'd be much more interesting to try something in a different vintage, and especially an older vintage, but I mean, they haven't been made all that long. And this is Bretaudau's Ornaté on this side, Ornaté on the back label. I don't know which one it is. 100% Merlot from the Loire. I don't know, what is this guy doing? But once you understand that it's Merlot, you realize, okay, you get extra points for that right away, because that shouldn't work, and it does. It absolutely does. It's got the tobacco leaf thingy of a Cabernet Franc, that sort of bitter, herbal freshness to it that's almost chartreuse-like in its bitterness. But a generosity of fruit that you don't typically get in the red wines of the Loire. Because Merlot is rounder and softer. You wouldn't mistake it for Petrus, that's for sure. This is the boys are back in town, kind of crazy wildness to it. Youngsters at the beginning of an evening getting ready for mayhem to come. It feels a little bit like untrustworthy. But lovely wine. I had some with food. It was even nicer. There's a lovely licorice root. Very different one though, not as deep and dark and dense. This is it's a little bit more hollow. It's a little bit more ghostly in that sense. Nice minerality to it that's out of place with how I perceive the Merlot grape, and certainly not as woolly as the warmer vintages and warmer climates, warmer terroirs of Merlot could be. An American Merlot, say, or even a Pomerol. A very interesting one, and really not that much money for what you're getting for the uniqueness of it, because it's still so well crafted that you still want to drink it, and it makes you want to keep coming back to it. I'm enjoying this producer. He's batting 100 for me right now. Is it a wine that you should go out of your way for? I don't know. If you're interested in different grape types in areas that aren't typically the norm. You might remember from a previous video I did Jamais, making Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from around Côte-Rôtie, for the better and for worse to some extent, but at the prices they were giving them away for, it didn't matter. This is a little bit more expensive, but it is a better crafted wine as well. It's a more complete wine for sure. It's a bit more serious in that sense. I really like it. I'd go back for some more. I was pretty thrilled about all of those producers. I think the most exciting discovery for me was Jessica Litaud, despite my initial disappointment with the CROs, which, I think is a playful name on cirrhosis of the liver. I think, the French love a good pun, don't they? But it could just be the pink wax on the bottle, which seems a little bit more realistic, but I think it's both. This is a name to remember. It's definitely a name to be collecting the wines of when you see them, buy them. Highly recommend it. For me, probably my favorite thing about this trip in terms of wine. Domaine de Renardière, La Renardière. I never come across them really before, although I sort of heard and I've seen the bottles because the labels are sort of unmistakable, they stand out a little bit. Very interesting bottle. It really opened up on day 2, and I know that I was drinking this way too young. I think these are designed to go the distance 10, 20 years longer, maybe, who knows. The overnight helped so much, and it was such a delicious, zippy Savagnin, fresh and authentic and genuine to what I would expect from around there, from Jérome, but also a little bit with its own little style, with its own little pizzazz. And I really like that. I really love the interpretation of this wine. Maybe I sounded, I think, in the note a little bit negative about it. And maybe not negative, but a little bit less enthused, you could say. But I wasn't. I really enjoyed it. And then last but not least, Jérome Bretaudau, who everybody's talking about. Legistus came up last year, and Andrea last year, and I drank a bottle this year. Both fantastic, both times. Really enjoyed them. I like exploring this concept of grapes in, terroirs where they're not normally from, because somewhere in the back of my head, and not being a winemaker of any kind, I sort of feel like you should be able to experiment and explore, and you should be punished for it. Especially if you think about it, these Merlots are going for 35 euros a bottle. So it's not punishing you, for taking a chance on them, especially in the early going. I don't think they're going to stay at that price very long. I think they're going to go through the roof. Fantastic Merlot, very clean and lifted, not so sort of warm, not so sober, which is an interesting treatment of that grape. I really applaud that effort. It excites me. I don't think it's one of the top wines I've ever drank, but it's a fun wine. I think the price is more than reasonable, more than fair. It's genuine. It's an artist at work here, so you're getting to try some of these things at an early stage before they take off. Pinot Noir Statera has taken off, so that one is a collector's item now. Everybody's trying to get their hands on those ones. How about my wine? Yeah, it's a perfect day to be drinking this. It's still super young, but it's loosening up a little bit. Gorgeous, savory tannins all the way through. Great mid-palate, high acidity. I love this wine. It's the 2022 Pomard. What can I say about Sky or something? I know I already said in multiple videos, but this was the wine for me to open while I was introducing and wrapping up three of my favorite wines from the summer. How was your summer? You got some names that you think I should be looking out for? I wouldn't mind. I love the tips. Thanks a lot for watching. Any comments, just you know where, and we'll see you soon. Peace.